Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture 3 of web designing with Dreamweaver. So in the previous video we have created a simple HTML file and we created a couple of div tags just to define the container and stuff like that. So in this part we are going to build an entire website's basic layout, okay? But instead of just creating the CSS on the same HTML file, we are going to create a separate CSS file. We're going to import a picture just to create a logo and some headlines and things like that. Okay, so let's start. Now, if you're using the same computer, you should be able to find the website name that you have created last time, and you will also find the other content that was inside. Now, I have deleted the HTML file, and I just have a picture here which I'm going to use as a logo. So, let's go ahead and create a new HTML file this time, and we're going to name this as index.html, and I'm going to save it in the same folder. So I'll name it as index as usual and hit save. Now I'm going to create my first div tag, which is going to be inside my body section, and I'll go to the insert and insert div tag. So this is same so far based on what we have learned in the last lecture, so that's why I'm going a little bit faster here. I'm going to write here container, okay, and I'll go to new CSS rule, and this is where things are different compared to the way we did in the last lecture. So instead of defining the CSS rule in the same document, I'm going to choose a new style sheet file here. So the moment I choose that and I hit OK, it's going to ask me where is this new style sheet, or do you want to create a new one? So I'm going to write here style.css. So it's also going to be staying in the same folder as the Andrew website. I'm going to click save here. And now I'm going to define the CSS rules here. So I'll give a simple background color, something like light blue. And I also want to go to the box section here, and I will give width as 1000 pixels and height as 1000 pixels. And I'll choose margin here. I'll turn that off and make the right auto and left auto to keep the main page in the center of the browser. And I'll hit apply here and say OK for now. We can also define the font and stuff like that, but that's OK for now. Hit OK, and there it is. And you can see there's no CSS files here in the HTML file. Instead, we have a link to a style.css file. Okay, so where is that style.css file? You should be able to find it in the file browser. So there's index.html, and we also have the style.css there. Okay, and you will also find up here along with the source code, which is the HTML, and you will also find style.css. So if I click on that, now it will show me what is the CSS rule that we have applied so far. And .container is the class name that we have created for this div tag. That's great. So before we create the other div tag, which is going to be inside this, I have to get rid of this text, because if I keep this text, what's going to happen is when I create my second div tag or the header section, it's going to come below this text line. So I just want to get rid of that. And I can create my header inside this. Now, I'm going to create the header, but I'm going to give a little different size just to illustrate how things are getting aligned inside our div tag. Okay, so let me go to insert div tag, and because I deleted that content, it disappears here. I'm going to write here header. Okay, and I'll go to new CSS rule. Now this time, because I have already defined a style.css, here it shows the style.css, so we don't have to change anything here. We'll leave it as style.css so that all the CSS rules that I'm going to define from now on is going to be stored into this style.css. And I'm going to click OK here. And I just want to go for box, or I'll give a background color just to distinguish that. I'll give green. Okay, and I'm going to go to box, and I'm going to give a width of 100 and 50 and height of 150 only for now. We need to change the width as 1000, but I'll do that later. So now I just want to apply this, hit OK and click OK here. So it creates the header with 150 pixels width and 150 pixels height. Okay, now what happens when I'm going to make more copies of this? Okay, so I'll just copy this and paste. I'm going to paste a couple more as well. Okay, and one more. So total of 4 headers I have. So just one CSS, but 4 different div tags in our HTML. So you would assume that the first one is created here, the second one that I copied and pasted should come here, and the next one should come here, and so on and so forth. But that's not what's going to happen. So the moment I click on it, you can see that everything is being aligned in a vertical order. So let me just preview this whole thing in Chrome. So I'll say save everything. Okay, so when I open it in Chrome, so you can see that everything got aligned in the vertical order. That's actually happening because this is what Dreamweaver does by default, or HTML does by default. Now the reason why this happens is because when we create one element, HTML thinks that, okay, that's it, nothing is going to be happening here, so we need to move to the next line, right? So to change this pattern, we can change the CSS from here. So I'll select the div tag here and I'll go to edit. Okay, so along with this here, I can change this feature that says float to left. So this is going to align from the left side and just keep putting things in the right side until it reaches the end, and when it reaches the end you can go to the next line. So I'll hit apply here and see what happens. Everything got aligned horizontally. So when I choose float left, it is going to just start from the left side and then arrange things until the end is being reached here. So when it reaches the end, then it will go to the next line, and so on and so forth. So once we create the container, every element that we are going to create inside this container is going to be based on float left. Okay, so that everything will be organized properly. So now obviously you might think that, okay, maybe the last item that we have here can be aligned to the right. No, don't do that. Everything has to be float to the left so that when it reaches the end, it'll go to the next line and start from the left side. So I just created these duplicates for demonstration purposes, so I'm going to delete them right now. And let me just click one more time. So that's what we have. So now I can edit the header because the header needs to be in 1000 pixels width. So I can edit that from here. I can also go to the CSS directly, and there also we have the header and we have the values for height and width. So even here I can just make this width to be 1000 pixels. So now you should be able to see that it becomes or takes up the entire length. So now next to the header we are going to create a menu bar. So I'll just go out of the header section. Now notice here, this is the header sections starting and this is the headers ending. So if I want to create something inside the header section, then I have to create it inside this space. So I'm going to just delete that for now, and I'll go next to the header. So this is where I want to create the menu. So I'll go ahead and choose insert div tag one more time, and here I will write menu bar. Okay, new CSS rule, it's going to be sticking to the same style.css file. Hit OK and go to box here, and the width is going to be 1000 pixels, but the height is going to be 50 pixels. This has to again float to the left, nothing else to be changed. I'll give a background color just to distinguish that, so I'll give something like red. Hit apply, hit OK, and we're done. Okay, so that's the menu bar. Right, so again, I don't want to have this text here. And next that I want to do is I can even copy this and paste. Okay, so we have used this insert div tag for, I've shown you how to do that for 3 different div tags. So this time I'm going to just copy this and paste it and we will just do some codes directly here. So I'll go ahead and paste that. Okay, so instead of menu bar, I'm going to write here content, content. Okay, so that's the one that we are going to create here, but we don't have any content CSS. So let me go back to the CSS here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the CSS from menu bar. Okay, now keep in mind this is just one method. Okay, doesn't mean that you have to do like this. You can do the same that I have done for the menu bar for creating the content as well. I'm just showing you different methods so that you can try different stuff if you want to. If you want to go back and do the same method as I did for the menu bar, you can just rewind the video and just watch from there many times as you want until you get a clear understanding of that. So again, for menu bar, this has to be changed as content. So let's leave everything else as it is. The height we need to change as 700, and the width is going to be 1000, same. Okay, so I think there's an option here, so let me give it a try. If I just press spacebar here, yes, that shows me to choose a color here, so that's easy. Alright, so I can just get rid of the C30. So that should be the color for yellow. Okay, so all I did was I just went here just next to the colon and I press spacebar. So I have an option to change the color directly here. Okay, fine. So once that much is done, now if I click, I should be able to see a yellow box here. Ta-da! That's it. Okay, so that's my content space. Let me just go ahead and create the same thing for my footer as well. So I'll copy this, go down, paste. This is going to be for footer, and the footer is going to have a height of I think 50 pixels. And again, we can change the color to something else. Press spacebar, take the color, let's say purple. I'm going to delete that. And I need to create a div tag for the footer. So go to source code here. So next to content, I'm going to copy that and paste. Okay, so instead of content here, I'm going to name this as footer. Now let me just save everything and Chrome. There you go. So we have the header section, we have the menu section, and we have the content section, and we have the footer section. So footer I gave 50 pixels. I think I'm supposed to give 100 pixels just to match up. So I can even edit from here. I can change the color, I can change anything that I want. So I'll give 100 here. Everything else remains the same. Hit apply, hit OK, and that should fill up that space. There you go. So that's the footer. Okay, so that's fine. So now I just want to create some details in the header section. So I want to put in a little logo here, and I want to have some more other stuff here. So I'll close this for now. And the header section is basically 150 pixels height, and my panda logo, I'm not sure what is the exact size of it. Let me go ahead and open that. I'll go explore here, so it should open up that folder here. Okay, and I'll right click and go to properties. Let me check the size of it. Details, yeah, it's exactly 100 pixels by 100 pixels. Okay, so my image is quite small here, so I will actually reduce the headers size, or let me just leave it like that. I will have some border in the top and the bottom. Okay, so inside the header I'm going to create one div tag. This is going to be for the logo. So I'll go ahead and choose insert div tag. This is going to be for logo, new CSS rule, hit OK. And this is going to have a box size of 100 pixels width and 100 pixels height. And this is going to float left. So everything that I'm going to create from inside this is going to float left. And I need to work on this margin, okay? Or we'll just leave it as it is for now. Let's just apply and we can make changes to that later dynamically. Click OK here and say one more time OK. So there it is. So we have the space for creating the logo, and I just want to get rid of this text. Instead, I need to bring in the picture. Okay, so to bring in the picture inside the logo, okay, sometimes accidentally you might keep it out here and insert the picture. Where can I insert the picture? There is images, and I can choose the picture here. So make sure that your picture is in the same folder. Okay, hit OK, and it's asking for something called alternate text. I'm going to write here logo. So this is a text that would show if the image is not available. Hit OK. Now unfortunately it came out of the logo div tag. Okay, so this might happen to you sometimes because the images get inserted exactly where you place your mouse pointer. Okay, so I purposely kept it outside here, so that's why we got the logo outside. So if I want to have it exactly inside, I should have kept the mouse pointer here and then imported the picture. But now that's okay, I can just cut this, right click, cut, and paste it inside the div tag. And now watch what happens. Boom, it went inside. That's it. Okay, so now I need to place him exactly same distance in the bottom, same distance at the top, maybe same distance from the side as well. I'll go ahead and choose File, Save. Okay, actually save all and then preview in Chrome. Yep, that's it. Now I just want to align this. All right, so for align this, I'm going to select the div tag and go to edit. Okay, so in the margin I'm going to give from top 25 pixels. I'm going to click apply. So as you can see, it just moved 25 pixels from top, and so we have 25 pixels in the bottom, 25 pixels in the top. That's perfectly fine. And I also want to give 25 pixels from the left side, so I'll give 25 here and hit apply. Now all these changes that we are doing is actually getting recorded in our style.css. So if I go to style.css and logo, as you can see, there's margin top 25, margin left 25. That's perfectly fine. So now next thing that I want to do is I want to create a little text here. Okay, so let me just make this smaller so that I can see a little bit more, and I want to have one more logo on the other side as well, and we will finish this video here with that. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the logo and the picture, the whole thing, copy, and this is also going to stay inside the header section. I'm going to paste here, so you should be able to see two. That's fine. And between both of them, I want to have one more div tag, which is going to be, I'll write it as title. Okay, so I'll choose insert div tag here. I'm going to write title, and this is going to have a new CSS rule. Hit OK. And for the title, I'm going to go back to box. The width has to be, so the total width is 1000, right? And the logo is 100. This logo is 200. And we have in between space here like 25, 25. So that's 125. Let me just take the calculator. It's getting too much. Okay, so we have 100, that is 200, 25, 25, 50, so 250. Okay, so what we need to do is minus 1000 with this 250, so that would be like 750. Yeah, that's right. Minus 1000 should be minus 750. Yes, that's correct. So I'll give 750 as the width, 750 as the width, and height is going to be, height can be same as the header, so that is 150. Again, float has to be left, and I think everything else is fine for now. Hit apply, hit OK, and I'll hit OK here. There it is. So we have this center space here for this whole thing. We have a little problem with this guy. Yes, I don't want this margin in the left side. I have to have the margin in the right side actually. So this logo has an issue. Okay, it cannot share the same style.css. I mean, it cannot share the same logo class. So what I'll do is I will create a new class for this CSS. I will have to change it here. Instead of logo, I'm going to name this as logo right. Okay, so that's the logo that is going to be the right side. Now this logo right also needs its own CSS rules. So I'll copy this and paste here. Okay, and this is going to be logo right. All right, GHT. Okay, and in terms of the margin, instead of the left margin, I can actually delete this left margin. That should fix the issue. Let me see. Yes. Let me just go ahead and preview the whole thing. Save all. Preview in Chrome. There you go. So we have same spacing, all the sides, everything looks good. So we have the center space for creating the headline, and we have to get rid of this and create the headline. So I'll close this for now, and let me just get rid of this. Okay, and I'm going to write something on the header space title here. So let's say, welcome to my Panda page. All right, so the last thing that we want to do is we want to bring this text down in the center. Okay, so before that, I can also make it a bit bigger in size. I can select it. I can change the format here in terms of different headlines, or I can change the same thing from my CSS as well. So I'll go here to edit, and here also we can just change the font, change font size, color, and things like that. Okay, so next thing that I want to do is I want to go inside this block section, and that's where you will find the text alignment, and I want to put it in the center. Hit apply so you can see the result directly here, and I also want to bring it slightly down. So before I bring it down, I also want to go to the box section, and I want to get rid of this height value. So if I remove that, what's basically going to happen is the height is going to be set based on the size of the text that I have, or the amount of content that I have inside. Okay, now this way I can actually increase the space here in terms of changing the padding value, so that the text would come down and we can put it exactly where we want it. So I'll go down here to padding. I'll turn that off, and I will choose from the top. I'll give something like, let's say 50 pixels. But hit apply. I think that's a little too much, so maybe something like 25. See if it works. I think that looks good. Or maybe we can just choose 30 here, hit apply, and okay. So I think that looks perfectly fine. Now these small yellow dotted lines that you're seeing, they are actually indicators of the div tag, and they won't show up when we actually render it into the website. So I'll go to file and choose save all. I'll go to preview in Chrome, and that's the result that we have so far. So the same way we need to create different menu items, and we need to create the content space, and we need to further subdivide the content space into having other details like pictures and text and headlines and things like that. So this completes this tutorial. See you in the next one. So meanwhile, if you have any questions or you don't understand anything, you can write them in the comment section below. You can also join our WhatsApp group. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask there directly, so that I will be able to answer you as soon as possible. So until we meet in the next video, see you, take care, bye bye.